Hey there, friends. Happy spring break to most of you out there. This is Bill MacDonald, the reading and writing doctor. Today's video is going to be how to have a clear thesis statement. If the prompt, the topic, is thought of as a question without a question mark, they're just wanting you to come up with a thesis, which is your idea, your thesis statement about the topic. If it's an open-ended question from a reading passage, the topic is going to be about a specific TEKS, Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, and they're going to ask you a question, a cue, and they expect you to be able to answer that question with some sort of idea. So I'm going to use today the prompt page that they give to all people who are writing expository in Texas to help you understand both what they're looking for to get to one land for expository and how to get a one from two different readers on an extended or essay response. So 1, 2, 3, 4 gets a good score. 5, 6, 7, 8 turns good to great for expository, but give me 5s is what you're trying to get on extended and essay responses. Now, why do I have a golf course behind me? I was imagining that most of you are going to go to some specific place to enjoy your spring break and just kick back and relax and hopefully not bring any papers with you to grade or lesson plans that your administration is going to give you the entire week off. That might be a fantasy in some of your worlds, but hopefully it's a fact that you can literally put down all of your teaching hats and just be a mom or a dad or a sister or a brother or a friend this coming week. But I'm gonna keep on sending you videos for those of you who want to spend a little time that in high school preparing for the expository test that's coming up in the first week of April. And it kind of goes along with persuasive. But for those of you who are already starting to build the foundation, because a pyramid doesn't start at the top of that where the point is, it starts at the bottom with a solid square foundation. So I would highly suggest you watch the rest of this video to kind of get a good idea on how can I get a 1 because of my thesis statement, what used to be called a central idea for 4th grade, a controlling idea for 7th grade. And it would be called a position statement, but they kind of word the prompts differently. So let's take a look at a prompt. For those of you who have the STAAR Writing guide that you purchased, this is on page number 9. And so if you look not at the what's called the read section or the think section, but you look at the 3rd section, where you see where my fingers are, the 3rd section looks like a W. The word write is going to be there. And it's what I would call the topic, the prompt, the write section. It's where the question is without a question mark. So if I read you this prompt, write an essay explaining the importance of being honest. The topic is honest. Think about that as the red light. Your thesis, how to turn it to a yellow light, would be what you might call a central idea statement. That means a sentence, controlling idea statement, a thesis statement. It would be the answer. And for this kind of a topic, for you ninth graders, since they're giving the topic just one side of it, they're asking your students to say, okay, if this is the cause, when you're honest, cause that this effect will happen. If you just say it's important to be honest, all you're really doing so far is writing the topic. If I was to ask you the question, why is it important to be honest? And you write to me, it is important to be honest, you're not answering the question, you're just restating the question. And that's not going to help you with the response. In many of TEA's PowerPoints that they put out, they said very plainly that restating the prompt and restating the topic basically with a question, do you think it's important to be honest? I do. That's what they were calling a formulaic hook, attention getter, or a lead. If you're going to ask a question about your idea, your thesis in the case of ninth grade, or ask a question about the way you're going to answer the question. Are you tired of people who just lie to you all the time? Now, I don't need to do that for an extended essay response. It's what I would consider fluff, because what they really want is just answer the question, but we don't have to restate the question, because it would sound like this. Do you think it's important? Why does the author think that honesty is so important? Be sure to use textual evidence and develop your explanation effectively. Well, if you say, do you think it's important to be honest? Yeah, they do. That's why they're asking you why you think it's important to be honest according to the author, whoever wrote the selection or the passage. So in order to get to two land, you would organize with reasons and examples. To get to three land, you would develop those reasons and examples. To get to four land for expository and persuasive, you would choose your words carefully with high vocabulary and voice, who you are on the inside, and that to keep the four, you would edit your essay for grammar mechanics, or else it brings it down because you need to have strong conventions. For answering an extended or essay response, if they say, why does the author state, why do you feel the author thinks it's important to be honest? Be sure to provide proof for your response or evidence for your response and develop it effectively. Well, what they're saying is, if you answer the question and show me where and why it's your answer and develop your response, they can give you from 0 if you do none of those things up to 3 points for the development. If you're using effective word choices based on whatever the topic is about, the TEAC, the skill, the subject, content related vocabulary, and of course you do have good grammar, then you can get up to 2 points for each reader, which means you can earn 5 points from one person and up to 5 points from the other person. And you're only going to get one of those questions. At least that's how it's set up right now. But what I want to do is go backwards one page, and I'm just going to show you. These are on page 8 of your STAAR Writing Guide. If you don't have the STAAR Writing Guide, I would suggest that you pause the video right now so you can kind of write the key words. That one that was number one, the importance of honesty. If you're honest, then this good thing will happen. And what I've done for you, I'll do it on the next video. I went ahead and wrote a thesis statement or a position statement for all of these topics. Most of these are not in the binder, so I highly suggest that you write these down if you need some more prompts over the next month if you teach 9th or 10th grade. Write about how forgiveness cause can make you a better person effect. That means if your students only write about forgiveness, but they don't write about being a better person, you're only doing half of the specific demands of the prompt. So you have to have some sort of a thesis and body paragraphs that kind of connect these both together. So if you can think of forgiveness as the red light and a better person as the yellow light, in order to go green to get like a 2, a 3, or a 4 in your essay, you have to talk about the cause and effect relationship of forgiveness making you a better person. Or if you want to take a compositional risk, if you're saying forgiveness doesn't make you a better person, well, you can do that because you are addressing the topic. You just have to be ready to explain why you feel that forgiving people sometimes causes things, especially you, because that was the relevant specific demands, a worse person. Okay, so forgiveness is a positive thing, a better person is a positive thing, so you would want to hopefully focus on the positive. Persuasive, write about whether it's better to give or receive. That means you have to pick one or the other. And if you say, oh, it's better to give so that blah, 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 that would be your position. It's more important to receive because blah, blah, blah. That could be your position that you stick to, and then you tell the reader why you believe it. Write about whether, position, family or friendship is more important. So again, is it family or friendship? You have to pick one or the other and tell why you choose that position. Family, da 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 da, because friendship, da da da, because. And like I mentioned in my next video, I've given a thesis or position statement for all of these. Number 5, write about the importance of having people who care about you. It doesn't say what these people are. They can be friends, they can be family members, they could be complete strangers, it could be first responders, it could be military, it could be anything that represents people who do or say or write things that care about you. It could be a pastor from a church. Let your students think outside the box because people is very vague. So your students can GPS get pretty specific and write about anything they want as long as it's about how critical, how vital, how crucial it is to have people who care about you in life. And then depending on what examples you're going to use, you could keep that in mind when you're writing your thesis statement. Number 6, write about an essay about the best way to become smarter. What I noticed a couple of years for 7th and I think once for 9th, they asked for one specific, what is the best way? In other words, they just want one idea, singular, to become smarter. Something that you can do, some place you can go, something you can say or not say. There's wisdom in silence. Okay, well then your whole essay might be about why being quiet, keeping your mouth closed can make you a smarter person, and talk about why and give examples that you would explain. Write up, here comes persuasive, write about whether or not college is important. So they would say college is critical to your life, or college is not a necessary step in your procedure called life, and then you just tell me why you believe that position is true. Expository, write about the importance of listening. So since listening is the topic, we'll call that the red light. And so you just need a yellow light to go with it. Don't just say it's important to listen, because all you're writing is the topic. It would be like just writing the question again. That doesn't really help anything. When you listen, cause this good thing happens. When you listen, you can learn from other people's mistakes, whatever it is. Just tell me the effect, positive, hopefully, or negative, if you're going to go that way, about listening. Number 9, write about the importance of trust. Trust is a positive thing, and you can have it with many people. You sometimes don't have it with some. So when there's trust, cause this effect happens. The effect is not there, so your students have to come up with it on their own. Write about the importance of technology. Sorry for that extra dot there. 2 little stop signs for one sentence, not necessary. Technology, and have your students be thinking all the different types of technology. Don't lock yourself into a computer or a specific invention that everybody else would think about, because it does say for a 4, your ideas are well chosen. So if you think about a specific type of technology that you know and understand, then make sure you zoom in on how you're going to explain how that technology is critical to our society in the modern day culture and 21st century. Our last one, write about whether, position, persuasive, or not teachers should assign homework. Okay, hasn't been given yet. So all of these prompts that I put on page 8 are topics that have not been assigned for 9th or 10th grade yet. So it's, as far as I know, maybe technology, I'm not sure, might have been worded a little bit differently. So teachers should absolutely give work to take home, because there's just not enough time in the classroom hours to cover all of the content and material, or have extra time to practice. You're going to have them zoom in on one of those ideas or 2. Just remember though, if you give me 2 ideas of why homework is important, then they have to be like your glasses. They have to connect each other like the lens of your glasses do. And you have to be able to support. If you're going to have 2 ideas, then you would probably say that your blue shirt would be why idea number 1 about homework would be true, and your green pants or whatever color pants would be why idea number 2 about homework would be true. And then remember, you have to have a belt, and the best belt is not my second reason. Your best belt would be a sentence that says, let me have a transitional sentence that allows me to stop talking about my first idea about homework, my blue shirt, a little bit of blue, and transitioning to my second idea about homework, a little bit of green, or whatever the other color, the other paragraph, if you want to call it that, it is going to be. That's what they call meaningful transitions. But before we can get to 2, 3, and 4 land, we've got to get to 1 land by having clear thesis or position statements. So those are some different, what you might do if you don't have, if you haven't purchased the STAAR Writing Guide for Expository and Persuasive, maybe pick one of those and write one. And then on my next video for you guys, I will share one. For those of you that do have this document, without looking at my page 7, where I answered all 11 of them with my own thesis and position statements, go ahead and take some time, pick 1 or 2 or 3 of them. Especially if you only teach 9th grade, then don't zoom in on the ones with the weather statements, the not the weather as in heat, but the weather as in either or. Focus just on the expository ones. That's the biggest. Stating your opinion or write about weather, those are going to be persuasive, and all the other ones are going to be expository, basically in structure. So try to write your own thesis statements before we get into me sharing the 11 thesis and position statements in my next video. I hope you're gonna enjoy your spring break, but I also suggest, like, if you're gonna be watching some of my videos, maybe just watch 5 or 10 minutes at a time and put it on pause, watch it later, because I know that you want to be able to relax and enjoy yourselves. Uh, because my last prompt was about the importance of homework. I don't want you to have a lot of homework this spring break having to watch my videos. But when you do get sent them, all you guys who purchase them, make sure you set them aside, download them to your computer and put them in a special file someplace so that you can look them over in the evenings or when you're done with spring break or sometime that's convenient for you. Always feel free to message me in Facebook if you have that, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can write to me at the word writing underscore doctor spelled out DOCTOR at yahoo.com, and I'll respond to you. I would love to be able to work with your students. I had 3 days working with some high school students last week that are preparing for their test on that first week of April. I worked with teachers for 1 day. Then we worked with 9th graders on our second day during their normal writing block. And we worked with 10th graders the second day. And we had anywhere between 20 to 30 students on day 1. And then on day 2, we tried something different. We combined 2 or 3 classrooms, and because it was only like 45 minutes, I told them that that was fine. We had up to like 80 students for that hour, and I have to use a microphone and my amp during that time. So we were able to make that work, and the students really enjoyed themselves, and I had a great time gonna kind of making persuasive more visual, verbal, auditory, and kinesthetic for them so they can understand the importance of brainstorming once you get a prompt or a topic like one of these that you've been given. So I would highly suggest that you spend at least 1 period brainstorming. And so if you have 6 periods, high school teachers, have the students from first period keep the brainstorming sheet on the desk so that when second period and third period, that you can add new ideas to the ones that the previous period has put, so that by the time you get through the whole day, there's this whole list to pick from. And then either with your own writing or the best one, the neatest one written by the students, plural, because they're going to be sharing that paper of brainstorming, planning, you can make a copy so that each student can come up with their own idea, their thesis, based on, and tell them. A lot of kids will ask, I like this one because it's very original, it's very unique. Well, do you know anything about that? No, I don't. So it's better to have something blah, something that maybe other kids will pick that you can explain, than trying to put something bling, some bling idea that you have no earthly idea what you're going to write about, or you don't have knowledge or experience with that specific idea that you write about. But if you do, then yeah, go for it. If I know and understand golf, I'm going to try to figure out how to take golf into one of my topics. because you can sometimes, with kids' limited experiences, you can have them write about the things they know about and just figure out how to connect their own personal experiences to the ideas, to the prompts that they're given, and be able to at least get a 2 or a 3 by giving reasons and somewhat developed explanations that go with the thesis or position statement that they give. So those are just some thoughts to think about. Uh, enjoy your spring break. If you are watching this on spring break, welcome back from spring break. If you put it aside to watch afterwards, take care and God bless.